You can listen to The Front on your smart speaker every morning. To hear the latest episode, just say, play the news from The Australian.
From The Australian, here's What's on the Front. I'm Claire Harvey. It's Friday, June 21. Renewables will have to make up the majority of Australia's future electricity generation, even under Peter Dutton's nuclear plan. That's according to energy experts who are chiming in as debate rages about Australia's energy future, amid fears we're already running out of gas generation. There's a new fight ahead of TV star Lisa Wilkinson, who's going to pay for her new bid to contest the federal court's findings. The TV presenter has already racked up legal fees of $1.8 million, defending herself from a defamation suit by Bruce Lehrmann, whom the court found had, on the balance of probabilities, raped fellow Liberal staffer Brittany Higgins. Lehrmann is appealing. Those stories are live right now at theaustralian.com.au. A stunning new witness account in the disappearance of 31-year-old mum Bronwyn Winfield has emerged, and it's turned the investigation on a gripping new path. Today, what Bronwyn Winfield's neighbour saw late one night in May 1993. "31 years ago, Judy Singh stood in the living area of her two-storey home on Granite Street in Lennox Head, up well after dark. She was a mum, a nurse, worried about how her new pregnancy was progressing and stressing about her job and money. Down the road in the darkness, a car started up.
And this night I was sitting up and I saw the car pull out at the end of the street and the light was on in the car. There's fairly squeaky brakes on that car, and he drove very slowly along the street, but he had left the car light on and I could see directly into the car. Are you listening?
Judy told this story to The Australian's national chief correspondent Hedley Thomas for a new episode of The Australian's investigative podcast series, Bronwyn.
Yeah, I'm transfixed. Yeah.
That's Hedley interviewing Judy in recent days, listening to her remarkable account of what she remembers from May 1993. Hedley is investigating the disappearance of 31-year-old mother of two Bronwyn Winfield from Sandstone Crescent on May 16 in 1993. That night, Bronwyn tucked her two little girls into bed and vanished. Police investigations conducted over the past 3 decades have so far failed to shed any light on Bronwyn's fate. Her husband, John Winfield, has always maintained Bronwyn left the family home voluntarily. The initial police investigation failed to consider the possibility she'd met with foul play.
Yeah, and I could see directly into the car, and I had a small lantern on the balcony rail, and he kind of looked up this night, and I saw this, what looked to be like a mummy in the back of the car. And I thought, would he be going late at night with, something that looked like, I just called it a mummy, and I've said this to my son so many times about this thing, and I thought, well, if he'd pulled out and that was a body in that car, it would be pressing up against the surfboard and maybe what was causing the light to be on in the car. And I thought, well, even if he was taking out belongings, you wouldn't make it look like a body. Do you know what I mean?
So when you say a mummy, it was wrapped in something?
Yes, it was either very pale green or cream. Not white, but maybe like a bed sheet or something like that.
Judy is quite certain it was John Winfield driving the family's white Ford Falcon that night. She says she could see into the car because the interior light was on, something that's always troubled her. Why would the light be on? What was that shape she'd seen in the back seat? John Winfield denies any wrongdoing in this matter. He's never been charged. This isn't the first time Judy Singh has told her story. She relayed what she'd seen to her friend and neighbour Kerry McLean shortly after Bronwyn disappeared in 1993. Not long after, Judy reported it at Ballina Police Station on the New South Wales North Coast. A decade later, she tried again, this time with the cops in Byron Bay. Police heard her claims, but Judy says they didn't take any interest. It wasn't until January 2023 when Hedley got an email from Kerry McLean, Jude's old friend from Lennox Head, that the pieces began to fit together. Kerry reached out to Hedley because she knew of his track record in investigating cold cases. She told him she knew something about the disappearance of Bronwyn Winfield, including Judy's story. Hedley tried to track Judy down, but she's moved and remarried, so her name has changed. Then, out of the blue, just over a week ago, Judy contacted Hedley by email, saying she had heard about the podcast, although she hadn't listened to it, and wanted to let him know what she knew.
You wonder why the police wouldn't be interested in that. Even now, I start getting quite churned up inside when I'm thinking about it. It's just one of those things that I've had to live with. My son Beau and I talk about it a lot. I said to him the other day, I said, there's this podcast came on, the Australian newspaper, and I said to my son, there's this podcast about Bronwyn. I haven't actually seen it. I said, crikey, what should I do, and he said, it's crazy, Mum, you've been thinking about that forever. And I said, I rang him, and he said, great, good on you, get off your conscience. He said, Mum, you've always, angst over this. Why don't you ring it? So that's what I did.
Coming up, how this mystery sent our team on the hunt for a vintage Ford Falcon. Subscribers to The Australian hear episodes of Bronwyn first. This explosive new instalment is live right now at bronwynpodcast.com. A subscription also includes all The Australian's world-class journalism and commentary, as well as breaking news alerts, newsletters and special events. Join us at theaustralian.com.au, and we'll be back after this break. Judy Singh's account of what she saw in the early hours of May 16, 1993 is chilling. But investigative journalism involves really digging into any new piece of info, testing every story, every bit of evidence. That's how our team wound up searching for a white 1987 Ford Falcon XF sedan. It had to be automatic because of the way the car's interior was configured. It had to be the exact make and model of John Winfield's car, so we could establish for ourselves whether what Judy says she saw was really possible. We called old colleagues, texted friends, dived into the car fanatics subculture on social media, rang every petrolhead we knew, trying to find the exact make and model. It was The Australian's national crime correspondent, David Murray, who came up with the goods. He located an XF sedan in Ipswich in Queensland, only this one was blue.
There's plenty of room in here.
That's our visual storytelling expert, Sean Callanan, who also happens to be a surfer and brought a bunch of his boards along to Ipswich with Dave and Hedley. Their aim was to test out Judy's account of a board and a body in the backseat of this car. Was that possible? Would a human body and a surfboard both fit in the back of this kind of sedan? Joining them in Ipswich was Bianca Farmarkis, who's actually the Australian's hugely talented video editor and has been voicing Bronwyn in this podcast.
When we moved to Lennox Head, I was even more lonely. The house that was built became John's castle and my prison.
Bianca reads Bronwyn's letters and notes, the ones Bronwyn wrote back in 1993. And Bianca is the same height as Bronwyn, 173 centimetres. She has the same slender build as Bronwyn. Bianca did not bat an eyelid when she was told we would be wrapping her up in a sheet, wrapping her to look something like an Egyptian mummy, and then picking her up and putting her in the back of an old Ford Falcon along with a surfboard.
So you could potentially fit in a board up to close to 7 foot.
Yeah, you could even go longer because you could turn it over and put the nose on the dash and the back of it on the back bench.
The next bit was the most challenging. 3 middle-aged white males needed to literally wrap Bianca up in a sheet and then pick her up and place her in the back of the car. We needed then to cover her head, and we needed to see if she would fit with the surfboard in the way Jude had described it.
To hear how the boys fit Bianca and the board in the back seat, you can listen to the episode and watch the startling video footage right now at bronwynpodcast.com. We also sent our visual storytelling expert Sean Callanan to go with Hedley to Judy Singh's house in order to capture in a visual sense what Judy remembers. Sean is one of those digital experts who can do anything, and when I described to him the challenge of bringing Judy's memories to life, he came up with the idea of collaborating with another of our digital design experts, Stephen Grice, to first sketch what Judy described, then create a computer image of the driver and what Judy described as a mummy in the back of the car. We bought detailed 3-dimensional images of the 1980s Ford XF, the very same model, and together Stephen and Sean placed the elements in the car: a driver, a surfboard, and a body wrapped in a sheet slumped on the back seat. The effect of the digital graphic they've created is chilling. On bronwynpodcast.com and theaustralian.com.au right now, you can see an animation of the car driving along the street in the darkness, with its interior light illuminating the body, the board, and the driver. The next question will be how New South Wales Police react to this development, a fresh eyewitness account in this 31-year-old mystery. To find out, go to bronwynpodcast.com right now and join our subscribers. Episode 7 of Bronwyn is out for subscribers now, and you can see how we brought this stunning witness account to life through 3D renderings and recreations at our website. Thanks for joining us on The Front. Our team is Kristen Amiot, Leah Tsamaglu, Joshua Burton, Jasper Leake, Tiffany Dimmack, and me, Claire Harvey.